So the other day, one of my chat members asked me to let them know what I think the terror radius of every killer should be. And I thought it was a really interesting question because, let's be honest with ourselves, there does need to be some sort of terror radius overhaul. Some killers just really should not have the terror radiuses that they have, and some should have, exactly what they have. So I thought I would go through. Now, I'm going to let you know right now, I don't have the terror radius of every single killer memorized. So if I get to a killer and I say they should have this terror radius, and that is already the terror radius they have, then that just means that I agree with what's in the game. Okay? You don't have to be like, they already have that terror. Then I agree with the game. Okay? Okay? Someone's gonna fucking do that anyway, aren't they? Anyway, let's get into it. A little bit of a thing is you're gonna notice is that a lot of M1 killers, not all of them, but a lot of M1 killers, I think should have a 24 meter terror radius. The problem with being an M1 killer is, especially in this day and age, with all of the sprint bursts and the 50 billion pallets and all of the safe loops and how most maps are just built to be anti-M1 killer, I think almost every single M1 killer, except for a few of them, should only have a 24 meter terror radius, and Trapper is one of them. Trapper is one of the ones I'm going to start with. Trapper should have a 24 meter terror radius, and that is exactly what I think. I do not think he should come with a lullaby, but I do think he should have a 24 meter terror radius. Next up is Wraith. I think Wraith should have a 24 meter terror radius. Not only is Wraith a stealth killer, but I also think it's kind of cool, if he wants to be able to get a little bit closer to survivors before he has to ring his invisibility, then I think that's really, really cool. Although I will say that I think that he should probably have that missing 8 meters for the 32 be some sort of lullaby, like a growl or something like that. But I think that a 24 meter terror radius for Wraith is fine. Next up is Billy. As much as I really love Billy, I think he should have a 40 meter terror radius. His ability to get from one end of the map to the other extremely quickly is just way too fucking strong, and you need to know when he's coming, and sometimes 32 meters is just not enough to do that. So I think that Billy needs to have a 40 meter terror radius to really combat the power that he has. Next up is the Nurse. I do not believe that the Nurse should have a 40 meter terror radius, but I do believe that in addition to having a 32 meter terror radius, which is the length of both of her blinks, she should have an additional 8 meter lullaby to kind of give a better heads up that she's coming. Next up is the Huntress. I think the lullaby with the 24 meter terror radius is just fine. The good thing about the lullaby is that she's in the area, but with the 24 meter terror radius, she has a little bit more of a jump on you. I don't think she needs a 32 meter. I think the 24 meter terror radius is just fine. Myers, see if I remember this correctly, it goes no terror radius, 16, and then 32. I think those are all fine. I think the 16 meter in tier 2 is fine. I think that the 32 meter in tier 3 is fine, and I think undetectable in tier 1 is fine. I think those are all fine. He's perfectly okay. Simply because he is just an M1 killer. And you might be thinking, oh, well, why don't you give him the 24 meter terror radius in tier 3? And that's just because of his insta down, and more importantly, because of his tombstone. You just don't want either of those to be able to sneak up on you. You know what I mean? Next up is the Hag. I think because the Hag is so slow at 110, she should have a 24 meter terror radius, which I'm almost certain she does. I guess I could check. No, I don't feel like clicking through menus. Anyway, 24 meter terror radius. I'm pretty sure that's what she has. That's what she should keep. Perfectly fine. Next up is the Doctor. Now, the Doctor is a special case because his power relies on his terror radius. I think he should have a 40 meter terror radius as a base kit. And then like the calm add-ons and the distressing and all that just makes his terror radius massive. I think of every character in this game, this is the one character who should have a regular massive terror radius. So I think Doctor should have 40. I would go higher, but I think it's kind of ridiculous because terror radiuses work in sections of 8. If you didn't know, they go 0, 8, 16, 24, 32, and then 40. I think bringing him up to a 48 terror radius would be overkill. So we're going to stick with a 40 terror radius for now. Next up is Bubba, especially with the Bubba buffs coming up. I think a 32 meter tear radius is fine, especially because, like I said, with those buffs coming up, he's got a really, really solid anti-loop now. His hug, he can technically hug tech, which is really, really strong. So I think 32 meters for his tear radius is perfect. That's definitely where it should stay. Next up is Fredward. I think Freddy should have a 24 meter tear radius. I think that he doesn't have anything. He doesn't have chase potential. His anti-loop might as well not exist. His dream pallets are funny, I guess, and he's got the teleport. But Freddy without the teleport would be F tier. And I think 24 meters is perfect for him. I think he should have a 24 meter tear radius. Next up is the Piglet. I think Pig should have a 24 meter tear radius. She is a stealth killer. She is basically an M1 killer. She has the ambush, but it's not very good. It's better than it used to be. Hell of a lot better than it used to be, but it's still not good enough to keep up. So I think that the Pig should have a 24 meter tear radius. Next up is the Clown. This might be a bias on my part, you can tell me, but I think that because the Clown has such an amazing chase potential with his bottles making it feel like you're trudging through fucking quicksand, and he's got the haste add-ons, I think his tear radius should be 32 meters. You need ample warning for when the Clown is coming because it is so easy for him to catch you if you don't end up pre-running him early enough. So I think 32 meters is perfect for the Clown. Next up is the Spirit. I think the Spirit should have a... Honestly, I think she should... How far can you go in her phase? Like, if you activate the phase and you just move in a straight line, how far can you go, typically? I think you can go, like, 24, 30 meters or something like that, right? It lasts quite... You're very fast in it. I don't know the exact math, but I would say a 32 meter radius for her is probably fine because I don't think she can go further than a 32 meters. But I would say I would like a lullaby when she's phasing. You know, people keep fighting me on this, visual indicator for her. They keep getting fucking pissed off because I'm like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if deaf people can do the exact same thing that hearing people can do against her? And people get mad. And you know what? I don't want to meet you assholes in the middle because fuck you, but at least give me a lullaby while she's phasing. So I at least know she's in the fucking area. Okay? Okay. Next up is Legion. I think the Legion, and this might be controversial, should have a 40 meter tear radius because the Legion's power, very similar to Doctor, relies on his tear radius being big so that he can get the killer instinct when he's in frenzy. Now, granted, I said back in my one change for every killer video that every killer should have, or that he should move at 6 meters a second in base kit, but you should couple that and give him a 40 meter tear radius so that he can, find people in frenzy better. Next up is Plague. I think with the combination of Plague's very powerful ranged attack and her sickness being very strong, I think that a 32 meter tear radius is perfect for her. So yeah, we will keep her with a 32 meter tear radius. Next up is Danny DeVito. I think we should give him a 24 meter tear radius. He's a stealth killer. He should be stealthy. He should have that stealth, but I think he should have a lullaby that comes out to 32 meters. Yeah. So a 24 meter tear radius with a 32 meter lullaby. Next up is the Demo Doggy. I think Demo Doggy having a 32 tear radius is fine. His shred is very, very strong at long loops. He's got decent anti-loop. He's got decent zoning. So 32 meters is fine. Next up is the Oni. I think that the Oni should have a 32 tear radius while in his M1, but a 40 meter tear radius while he is in Berserk mode. That Berserk thing, Demon Dash, whatever the fuck it's called, that goddamn Tomba is very, very strong, and you should have ample warning he's coming. So you should I would definitely say a 40 meter tear radius while he is in Berserk mode. Next up is Slinger. I think that Slinger should have a 24 meter tear radius. Slinger should be very similar to Huntress. It should be a 24 meter tear radius with a 40 meter lullaby. So a 40 meter omnidirectional lullaby, that way you can't abuse, monitor, and abuse, or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? So I think that would be perfectly fine. I think that that's good. And that would it also make it really cool. Like, could you imagine if fucking terror radius with like an I'm sorry, a lullaby with like an old western thing, you know? Or however the fuck it goes, I don't know. Pyramid Head, I think a 32 terror radius for Pyramid Head is fine. You need time to get to a loop, especially because he has arguably one of the best anti-loops in the game, if not the best anti-loop. It's very hard to tell between him and Artist, but yeah, 32 terror radius, fine. Blight should have a 40 meter terror radius. Blight is another one. Blight approaches you so fast, that I think that you should really give him a 40 meter terror radius because it's very, very strong, incredibly strong. Oh. Next up is Twins. I think Twins having a 32 terror radius is fine. Not really anything special about them that would make a 32 meter terror radius unneeded, but not really anything that would make it, you know, needed either. It's just the standard terror radius of 32 meters, so I think it's fine. Next up is Trickster. I think Trickster should have a 24 meter terror radius. He has a lullaby. I don't know if the lullaby is as strong or as big as Huntress's, but he hit a 32 meter terror radius with like an 8 meter lullaby is fine. It's not a big deal. I think it's fine. Especially because he's a 115 killer and a ranged killer, like he's both. So I think, yeah, 32 meters is fine. Next up is Nemesis. I think 32 meters on Nemesis is fine. I was so halfway tempted to give him 40 meters just because he's like a big hulking dude and it would be funny, but no, gameplay wise, 32 meter terror radius is perfectly fine. I'm fine with that. Next up is Pinhead, 32 meters. Don't really need to explain it. Pinhead's got decent anti-loop, decent chase power. You need time to get ready to start running away from him, so it's fine. Next up is the Artist. I think Artist is also fine with a 32 meter terror radius. She doesn't really need much. You might be expecting me to treat her like some of the other range killers. Hey, give her this terror radius with this lullaby, but you really don't need it. You really don't need it. I mean, she's got cross map potential anyway, so yeah, you just don't need it. 32 meter terror radius is fine. Next up is Sadako. I think Sadako should have a 24 meter terror radius. Now, I've seen people asking to get rid of her lullaby. I don't know why. They're like, oh, she can't stealth. It's fucking stupid. Most people didn't even know she had a lullaby before the thing came out, but also, like, you guys do know that there's a visual glitch around the screen when she's near, right? Like, I don't know if that's something that's like widely unknown to people, but whenever you're playing against Sadako and you're in her lullaby, there's visual glitches around the screen. Unless that's something else that I'm not aware of, like a different part of her power, maybe a TV teleport or something. But whenever I'm playing against her, I can almost always tell when it's Sadako because I'll get there'll be like a little box up here and it'll go zzz, 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 like stuff like that. So maybe I'm wrong about why that shows up, but yeah, it does show up. Next up is Dredge. Dredge should have a 24 meter terror radius. He is a stealth killer. He's a stealth killer that doesn't get a lot of love for being a stealth killer. Dredge should 110% have a 24 meter terror radius. I don't think so. I don't think it's fair otherwise, to be honest with you. Next up is Whiskers. I think Whiskers' terror radius needs to go down to 32 meters. I have no idea why it's 40 meters. I have absolutely no fucking idea why it's 40 meters. 32 meters. Dead and done. Next up is the Knight. Knight is fine at 32 meters. He can send his guards pretty far, so it's nice to know when he's in the area. So we definitely want to keep him at 32 meters. Then we have Skull Merchant. Skull Merchant at 32 meters is fine, perfectly fine. She can get undetectable with her drones, so reducing the terror radius wouldn't do anything, and increasing the terror radius also wouldn't mean much, because at the end of the day, she's still an M1 killer, but I don't want to reduce her terror radius because that doesn't seem fair. So I think 32 meters is fine for her. Next up is the Singularity. 32 meters, absolutely fine. He is also an M1 killer. The reason I don't want to bring his terror radius down to 24 meters is because of his teleport. Also, I just don't really see a reason to. I don't think he needs it, right? Like other killers like Trapper or Pig or Freddy that I brought down to 24, like, needed it. He doesn't need it. He's fine. 32 meters, perfectly fine. Next up is the Xenomorph, the 32 meters in walking, and the hold on, she's coming, guys. She's got to put on her makeup. You can't rotate the Xenomorph? Huh. Today I've learned wait, can you? You can't rotate the Xenomorph. Anyway. So I think walking 32 with 24 meters in the crawler mode is fine. I think it's fine. Doesn't really need to be changed. Nothing wrong with it. Next up is the Chuckster, especially with the buffs to his slice and dice coming in the next patch. 32 meters is definitely needed. I watched a Hidden's video with Hidden showcasing that ridiculous slice and dice, and holy shit. I was so wrong about Chucky like falling into B tier without the manual scamper. All Chucky did was trade one of the best anti-loops in the game for one of the best chases in the game. Like, that's all that happened. His position on the tier list is still right below Billy, and he didn't move. His playstyle shifted, but his power level didn't move. It's crazy, bro. It's so strong. Next up is the Unknown. Unknown's gonna do this little head cracky thingy, whatever. Unknown being 32 meters is fine, perfectly fine. He's got a pretty decent range. Or, no, it's not a decent. I would argue that his ranged attack is the worst ranged attack in the game. But he's got the ranged attack. He's got the teleports. You kind of need to know when he's coming so you can get ready for it. So 32 meters is fine. 32 meters is perfectly fine. Other than that, I am filming this before Vecna drops. So I'm just going to go ahead and tell you guys that Vecna should have a 32 meter tear radius. Vecna flies incredibly fast. He's got the information with his orb. He's got anti-loop. You need to know when Vecna's coming. So 32 meters works perfectly fine for Vecna. And that is it. That is everybody. I still have all my stream overlay stuff up on this screen. Fuck it, I don't need to take it down. Anyway, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think down below, and as always, a great big special thank you to my channel members listed on screen now. If you want to find out how to become a channel member today, get awesome perks like seeing videos early, merch discount codes, and more, then please click that join button down below. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Can't get enough daily Dead by Daylight content? Then check out my second channel, The Kaiser Extras, where I upload gameplay footage, me reacting to your Dead by Daylight clips, and more. We also have a new short that goes live every single day, so you can catch up on all the greatest clips from stream. We'll see you over there. Link is in the description.